Kevin, it's
Bjorn.
really great to have you here. You are, and I think we should clear that, we should talk about that first, because everybody in the industry knows what a CFO is doing, what a CCO is doing, what a CEO is doing. But having the pleasure, having the chief editor of Water Online here on my mic, I mean, what is an editor? What is a chief editor doing all day long? I mean, take us with what is it? What are you doing?
Oh, well, I'm mining content throughout the industry, the wonderful world of water and wastewater and stormwater and industrial water. And I'm trying to inform our readership, which is comprised of engineers and utility operators, as well as researchers, academics, anyone interested in water, but mostly people making their living in water, to make their jobs easier by keeping them well informed. And so my job is to get those eyeballs on the site. We want to be the place, the destination site for when you have a question about water, wastewater, you go to Water Online, and it's my job to get them there. And I do that by putting out engaging content, important content, relevant content that they need to do their jobs better, whether that's me writing it or quite often somebody else. We have great contributors and whatnot.
So are you writing yourself? Or let's say other way around, what is the difference between being a content creator and an editor? Isn't it somehow meanwhile same a bit in a way?
I'd say these days, yeah. I mean, an old school view of editor, what I used to think of an editor would be like a book editor or something. Someone else is the author and you're kind of like going through it and fine tuning it and making suggestions and stuff like that. That's largely what I do. But we're also creating content in the sense that we're actually writing too. Not what I would say, I'm not a prolific writer. I'm actually a pretty slow writer. I think I put out good content, but I kind of like labor over every word, you know what I mean? And so, it can take me a little while to be completely happy with it. Sometimes perfect is the enemy of good, and certainly the enemy of fast. So yeah, I do a fair bit of writing, but probably not as much as some others. But what I do is I've been in the business quite a while. I'm coming up on 20 years at this company.
Wow.
I've created a lot of relationships with people in the industry over the years, and I have a lot of excellent contributors that help out with the content.
Let's nail it down directly. I mean, because the number one question every water tech company has, how can I be part of Water Online? How can I get these guys writing about me? I mean, most thing, I mean, I have the best technology and they should know it. That is one thing, but they should just write about that. But let's say, how is it? How can I have the best technology in the world, right? The best water treatment technology. How can I convince you to write about me?
That's a little tricky in that I have editorial discretion, first of all. So if I were to objectively, in my own opinion, look at it and say, I agree, you have the best technology, I'd be inclined to write about it. Now, we do have advertisers on the site, people, Watertech companies that are part of our program. And, that is, so I would be betraying them if I were to go out and just, handpick other water tech companies to write about. You know what I mean? So like generally the people that I am writing about or are contributors are not vendors. They're not people writing about their product because they're writing about industry challenges and solutions, and solutions can be, technologies, but we're not like, I'm not interested in writing about a specific company generally.
But hey, I have the best technology. I have the best technology in the world.
So everybody thinks they have the best technology.
Yeah, but I have it. I have it here under my table directly. So I want you, Kevin, to write about that. That is, how can I
promise you, Bjorn, the next person thinks the same thing. I'd say if you're probably biased, not you. I mean, the person saying that. Now, I guess there could be an objective truth to that. right? So like I said, if you sell me on that, I probably want to, tell the world, but I still probably wouldn't say like, the X200 from company Y is the greatest thing. I'd be more like inclined to say there's this new way of doing things. There's this new way to remove PFAS, and it's based around this concept. And then really, honestly, if your product is that good, your solution is that good, you want to get in front of our audience. So you should probably sign up. And that would be what I would suggest. And then I'd have less qualms. It would be less sticky of a situation for me to really proselytize about your product.
But you said
Although
something
I
very
don't get into that, I would say. I mean, even the fact that we have advertisers on our site, I, as the chief editor, I mean, I need to maintain my credibility. So
100%.
I'm not out there pimping for a specific company per se. I really try to bring in my honest opinion about things and, about the industry on the whole, not specific companies or technologies.
But you mentioned it already. I mean, you said you are since 20 years, which is a very long period of time in that industry, writing or with Water Online and writing about companies, technologies, solutions, these kind of things. But isn't that exactly the one way the tech companies has to go? That they have someone inside the organization that have the contacts to this industry media outlets like you, and
Mm-hmm.
then on a regular basis, building up that relationship with you guys, that you at least know that I have the best technology under the table, even if you're not directly right about that, but at least that you know about that. Isn't that the number one thing they should do?
Yes, I would encourage that, and I love talking to those people. I see them at trade shows. I have
So
watched
what
them
is it what
go.
they have to do to build up this kind of, call it contact list, media list, whatever, right? I mean, you need to know these kind of people that you can say, hey, Kevin, you know what? I'm at Amter, I'm at Watertech, I'm somewhere here, somewhere there. Let's meet. Maybe I have a cool story to share. How
I
does it
mean,
work?
yeah, reach out. I mean, anyone, like if you talk to people in the industry, you know that like I'm not gonna like shun anybody who comes to talk to me about water, about their product. Reach out to me, editor at Water Online, K Westerling at Water Online. And I like to cultivate those relationships. And I do what I can within the parameters of our business model and, being fair. But so yeah, and I have done Q&As with CEOs and CTOs and other people about their product, more about industry challenges, like to establish them as a thought leader. So that's what I want, and I think that's what our readership wants, thought leaders. Now, you can be behind a great product and you've developed that product, you've studied the problem, you've come up with a solution, you're a thought leader. So I value that conversation, and that can show up in print on the site. And I walk the tightrope to get out the information that I think that people need and do it in a way that I think is fair to our current advertisers and that brings the relevant and good information to the public. So all that is to say that it is a balance, but I would encourage anyone like in the industry, like people you were just talking about, go ahead and reach out to me. And then I see them at the trade shows and whatnot. And, sometimes years go by and they end up on the site. Maybe not. Maybe they end up at a different company. Maybe not. But like, I
Absolutely, yeah.
I want to tap into their knowledge, and yeah, I don't know.
And I think it's very beneficial. I mean, you have to understand from a Watertech perspective, it is beneficial for both. It is a beneficial for you guys, right? From the media outlet, because you need to know exactly what's going on the market. What are the challenges? What are the solutions? Who is a new player? What is new? Who has merged with who? So on and so forth. And on the other hand, that is the number one way for the Watertech companies going out to share what they have developed, what they have seen in the market, because they are talking to the operator, because there's maybe a new problem, whatever. And this is the way how this comes together, and in the end it pops up somewhere at your page, right, or somewhere else, whatever the channel is, where you are going to talk about that to inform all the others about that. So it is not just one way, it is both ways. So you are interested in that, and the Watertech companies are interested in that. So that is it's important to know, right, that it is beneficial for both sides. What do you think about the, I love it, by the way, press releases? Completely dead some years ago, and have a renaissance from marketing perspective. I mean, this is a marketing channel. We're talking about marketing, communication is part of that. And press releases nowadays have really, from my perspective, renaissance, because it's about the LLMs that are going to use these kind of content, that we have reliable sources, and as well that we need more and more third-party content, which is somewhere else. And press releases are one, from my perspective, one important thing that can work. What do you think about press releases? What happens when you get a press release inside your inbox?
Well, we do have a couple newsletters that go out every week, and I do include press releases in there. And so, as you can imagine, I get a lot of them. I see a lot of them, and I handpick the best ones that I think are worthy of showing up. That our
How do
audience
you
would be
handpick the ones? How do you handpick the best ones? You have to tell me that, because I'm sending you also press releases.
Right.
I've done this in the past.
Right. A lot of it would, well, I like to have my finger on the pulse of what's most important to our audience, the hot topics, so to speak. I mean, just to name a couple, I already mentioned PFAS before, and copper is a big thing. And there are various other ones, water scarcity, the industry issues, contamination of all sorts. And really, truly, I don't lean too much into vendor releases. I mean, the EPA puts out press releases as well. They're gonna be included. Other agencies, AWWA, WEF, and the like. That's important. But what I would recommend against is really front loading it with, a product name and then specs on that afterwards.
The don'ts. He said putting I don't know, technical bullet points or these kind of things into a press release. That is a no-go. That's one signal that you would say, I don't consider this one to put it in my email newsletter.
Well, it's just, I think you should talk about what your product is meant to solve. Identify the problem, and then, you have this solution. I've read press releases where, like, I got through the whole thing and I still wasn't sure exactly what the thing was. Now, I mean, there's a whole thing called the buyer's journey, right? Like, you're aiming for that decision maker and the end user. So, I mean, if you're hitting them right in the spot where they already know about your product, they've researched it, and they're into the specs, they're that far down the line, sure, but that's not going to likely see my newsletter, because really we want to hit people with, okay, I mean, the fight for eyeballs in this day and age, is tough. So you got to strike them with an issue that they are familiar with and interested in, and they're going to click on that around, hey, that speaks to me. The XT1000 has just released version 3. Not going to do it. The fact that, John or Jane Doe just got promoted from, vice to,
I get your point, yeah.
I don't think my audience cares that much about it. So as far as my newsletter, I get it that, I mean, it's important for the company, to the company, and their goals might be different. Their motives might be different in putting it out there. They probably have internal newsletters and whatnot.
Yeah.
I'm not knocking it, but I'm just speaking from my chair.
Let's talk about this further. The kind of do's and don'ts. What about putting photos in? Is that a must? What if I have sent you a press release without a photo? For instance, I don't know, we have signed a new agreement with another company. Is a photo a must, or is it something nice to have?
I'd say it's nice to have. I don't always use them when they're there. I'll check them out. I think if it adds value to the release, and sometimes value just means it looks better aesthetically.
That's the point. Yeah.
So that is value in and of itself. But sometimes it's a silly AI generated image that I think actually looks goofy. It's obviously a stock photo that I'm like, no thanks. And sometimes it's just a gigantic photo that is hard to work with because it's just like the memory or the volume that it takes up just to work it down to a workable size that, fits within our CMS and stuff like that. Like, I don't want,
That's important. That's a good one. That's really a good one. That's really a good one. I mean, sometimes you just send the photos with that are way too big, right? To handle, to process. Good point. Very good point. What about, let's say, normally, if you send out a press release, you send it out to multiple industry media outlets, right?
Mhm.
So how do you do that? Do I send one directly to say to Kevin, hey Kevin, here's my press release, or do I put all of them I have on my list in BCC? So what is the way forward doing it? Is both okay, or is it? How do you see that? If you get an email where you see, okay, I'm on BCC, so I'm among 200 others. I don't know.
Mhm.
Is that a red flag or not?
Again, I'm going to evaluate it based on its own merit. So, I mean, if I would have been interested in it if it were to come only to me, I'm not going to be interested in it because there are so many others on it. Like, I'm taking it on the content, the value of the piece itself. I will say that sometimes when there's, that volume of people on it, that I don't think it's necessarily targeted. And so, a lot of times I'm not assuming that it's going to be relevant. I'll still evaluate it, but like I get a lot. So I think there's a certain value to having it sent direct. Like I do, even on a human level, I think that one-to-one kind of thing, a lot of times I do recognize the person on the other end. I do think that they're probably also sending it to other people. But the fact that I know and have worked with that person and it kind of looks like it's coming directly to me, I might be more inclined to hook that person up than someone where like, I'm on this giant list. And are they even going to notice if I don't put this up? Because, and you could say, again, I mean, do I do favors for people that I like? Probably. That one that's a favor isn't going to make it into my newsletter because if it was really good, I'm going to put it up either way. If it's
True. Yeah.
if it's on the border of good and I have a relationship with it,
That's a nice one.
it might make it to the site, but won't make it to the newsletter.
I mean,
I'm probably giving too much about the way I work here. I don't know.
no, we have really tested both. We have tested sending press releases directly to people, even if they are, let's say, one of many. And we have tested this directly, putting everybody on a BCC list, right? And everybody recognized that, hey, I'm on the BCC list. And at least from the feeling perspective, we have seen, yeah, the latter one wasn't published that often from our perspective as if we would send it directly to the people. So that is, at least, I mean, there's not a big study about that, but let's say that is our experience a little bit. And I highly encourage the companies doing this directly. Build up the network, go out there, send it directly to Kevin, to Jane, to John, to Drew, whoever, right? Doesn't matter.
And I think I just validated that, right? Pretty much.
Yep.
Yeah.
It
works on me.
What about having, there was a must some time ago that you need to have a quote inside a press release. Does it still matter? A quote from a CEO, a quote from, mostly it is a CEO, right?
I mean, I obviously can't speak for other editors. I can only, and to be honest, press releases aren't a big part of our content offering. I mean, they're there. It's not my focus. Again, like if I think it's helpful, to our readers, certainly. But I think where readers find the real value is in our editorial,
Sure.
from thought leaders and, our articles, our case studies and whatnot. And a press release. The quote, I mean, I'm going to guess the quote's usually coming from someone inside the company that's promoting the product. And so for me, the fact that the CEO said it's awesome, it doesn't move the needle that much for me, I don't think. I think I evaluate it more based on what it can do and what it can do, what kind of impact it can have for the industry.
Yeah. So a third party quote would have a higher quality rather than just the
Yeah.
CEO, which is
Yeah.
just part of the technology, just part of the part of the company, right? So I mean,
Certainly, if you could get that,
yeah,
absolutely.
so,
Like we have video content where we'll have a third party, that will come in and talk about the product, and that helps a lot.
Yeah.
When you get that third party.
Absolutely. Let's talk about channels in general. Media outlet, for instance, like what online we are talking to right now, is how many channels do you have? Meanwhile, I mean, 10, 20 years ago, most probably there was a website, maybe there was a little magazine. But nowadays, what are the channels you have? So if I'm the Watertech company and I want to do business with you, what is it? What do you offer?
Well, Water Online is the hub, right? But we have different ways of getting the content out there. Video being the fastest growing right now.
So you have a YouTube channel, or are you just recording and then you go for, okay, it's okay.
We're on YouTube. We're on Spotify, iTunes.
Podcast, sure.
Wherever you can get your podcast, your favorite spot. Got an excellent following on LinkedIn, which I think is very valuable in the business community, way more so than some of the other socials. Like we don't really bother with Facebook, Meta, whatever you call it, or Instagram. That's not where I think we want to be. Water Online page has over 10,000 followers. My personal page, which is mostly water industry people. I mean, because my career has been pretty much the water industry. So so that page is, I can't even tell you how many I have, but it's actually a second arm of the Water Online network, because I put out a lot of stuff that's all Water Online related. And I could look, it's probably 15,000 followers. So that's big for us. We're on X too.
What about email? Isn't that
email?
Meanwhile, really the number one, or at least number two, in terms of audience, in terms of conversion, that really people read that and so on? Is that because email, I have the feeling, is super important meanwhile?
Email is still very important. And as much as you can kind of like look out into the future and be like, people are still, that's the way, I still come in, open up my inbox first thing every day. And our email newsletter does great as far as opens and conversions. And
what is a typical opening rate you have? Do you have this kind of number?
I don't have that number.
Okay.
In front of me, no. But like when we do a live event or something and we put it out there to our audience, very responsive. 1,000 signups for a live event. That's very good. And so, yeah, we have a very responsive audience. We've built a list that our audience really trusts us. And, you get so much spam, so many bad emails. But when it comes through, at least for our audience, and they say they see Water Online in the subject line, that's one they gravitate towards. And, that's one they're clicking on. It seems to be.
What about ads? I mean, one of the big parts you guys offer, of course, are ads, if I'm not completely wrong, right? That is one of the business models you are creating money with, correct?
Yeah, but not in the traditional.
You have the subscribers, but you also have on the webpage, on the email, and so on. You have a couple of ads you are selling, which is absolute. Don't get me wrong. It's right. Absolute correct, and that's the way how a media outlet works. Your business, right? The super important part of the business. My question is more: if I have 5,000 grants, five grand, and I want to spend some ads. Which channel I should use? Should I go rather, if I go for you guys, for instance, if should I go more for the website? Should I go more for email? Should I go more for, I don't know. What is it? Where is the highest conversion in terms of that I get? You said it. Fight for eyeballs. I put it down here. Where can I get most out of my money nowadays in terms of the ads? Super, super exciting question. Not sure that
Well,
there is an answer already, but
I mean, I think it's different for each company and their motivations, what they're trying to achieve. We don't really sell on ads per se. We really want to sell a connection to our audience. So we have, we think, the best audience out there for, water technology companies to get in front of. We've cultivated that over many, many years. And we'll work with you. We're consultants, sort of, in how we're going to present your message and get it out to our audience and get them through from recognizing you as a brand, as a company, as a leader, to the point of, making that sale. Now, that could be through articles that appear in our newsletter. That could be, through a webinar that you might purchase through us. That could be through sponsorships, which are where we have banner ads, traditional kind of stuff. But mostly we're just trying to create that connection with our audience. And what we provide that others don't is a proof of concept with analytics and whatnot. So you'll know the value you're getting from being with us at the end of the day. We'll be able to show you. So you're not guessing.
you said something very interesting, and that this is the
Did
final
I?
question.
That's surprising.
I mean, you said a lot of, but let's say in your last statement,
Okay.
you said
Go ahead.
webinars.
Mhm.
So if I, with my super technology, which is under my table, which is really the very best, if I want to give a webinar, can you guys help me with that? So in terms of what I mean by that is, I've seen a lot of companies having webinars, and some are good and they have their own email list and they can invite, I don't know, so many people, and they in the end have really good traffic on the webinars. So mostly between 50 to 100 people, right? If you have this kind of range of highly interested people on your webinar, is super good, right? But I have also seen companies doing webinars with less than 10. So if I would be completely new and I have the super cool technology under my table, could I reach out to you and you help me with webinars? So saying, hey, we are going to promote that. Of course, it comes with my $5,000. But let's say, is that something you could help me with?
Our business model does not allow for that. So we are when you come on board with Water Online,
Sure.
it's a longer term sort of thing.
Sure.
It's over a year typically. And then, once we're working with you on that level, then we look into, how best to get your message out. What are the best avenues? What are the best channels, I should say? So and a webinar is a great avenue.
Absolutely.
And of course we would, help you to get the most value out of that. Way more than 10 to 50 people, I could promise you. But so we don't do sort of a la carte thing. You can't come out of the blue and be like, I just want the webinar.
If I have the premium package, whatever the premium is, I don't know actually.
Yes.
But let's say there would be some.
It's right. It's one of the benefits of being part of the program.
Yeah. No, I really like that, because I totally believe in webinars completely, and every company should do that, because that's one thing we have learned during COVID, that even good online content we can consume while sitting somewhere in the world. So it doesn't matter whether you are based in Germany and there's a cool tag, or your audience is in the US, you can handle that meanwhile, right? We have all the tools, right? At least most of the companies. And the second thing is, quite often it doesn't matter whether you have 50 or 100 or 500 people on the webinar. It is just the right people that have really the need and really can use your technology, right? If you have the wrong people on your call, just for instance, nothing against them, but just academical people, right? For
Right.
that reason, you're not going to sell your
Yeah.
tech. So that's why. But it's a good thing, because I have never heard that you guys can also help with that kind of service. Awesome. There was so much in. I put some notes in. That was one of the topics I really wanted to talk with you about, and I was sure that I take something with it. If I have taken something with, there are a lot of people out there that have a cool technology as I have, that can take at least one or two things with and can do marketing better. Thanks a lot, Kevin, for being with me.
Thank you, Bjorn.
Was a
It's a pleasure.
pleasure.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Sure was.
It was great, and looking forward to seeing you very soon.
I hope so. All right. Thanks for your time, Bjorn.